Hi, everyone. This is Phil Travis, and this week's announcement here at SCF for EUH 1001. It is week 4. This week, I'll try to make this announcement brief for us. This week is we're reading chapter 19 and 20 from our textbook, the Colin Symes textbook, Western Civilization, and we are looking at the Industrial Revolution this week. I know that we had a test last week. And so this will be a light week. We just have our graded discussion forum as usual. So we have our graded discussion forum. Remember, for full points, make sure you make your first post by Thursday or a reply. Really, I just want to see that you're active, before or by Thursday. And then I want to see a total of 1 post, 2 replies over 2 separate days during the week for full credit. And make sure your responses and replies and posts are are of a substantial nature and demonstrate that you've, been doing the reading. So this week we're doing the Industrial Revolution. I have my own presentation on the Industrial Revolution up. I also have a short 20-minute video on the Industrial Revolution. And, you really should watch both of these. They will really, my presentation and the film, they will really help you get this subject. And it'll just help you for the test as we move forward in the class. Very fascinating subject. The Industrial Revolution is something that is still shaping our world. It shapes the world in many ways that maybe we take for granted. The idea of having shifts, having a time clock, having to come to work on time, having to come to class on time, having a clock on the wall that dictates when you're supposed to be places. That's the Industrial Revolution. The idea of having all of these machines and gadgets made of interchangeable parts. That's the Industrial Revolution. The fact that warfare has become massively more technologically advanced and massively more destructive, resulting in the 20th century of the most destructive wars in human history, World War I and World War II. That's the Industrial Revolution. Standard time, the standardization of time zones. The reason that that right now California is, no matter where you are in California, 3 hours behind you if you're on the East Coast, that's standard time. That's obviously standard time. That's the Industrial Revolution, the organization of time zones, the beginning of instantaneous communication methods. Today we use cell phones and wireless technologies, but during the Industrial Revolution you see the advent of the telegraph, the wireless telegraph by the end of the century of the 1800s, and of course the telephone, the radio, and then of course ultimately even the development of the concept of wireless electricity with Nikola Tesla. So the Industrial Revolution has a profound impact on how we live today. And of course, the Industrial Revolution results in a massive explosion of world populations because farming becomes more productive, so people have better diet, better nutrition overall, and as a result of that, population grows in the Industrial Revolution. With this, we also see the emergence of issues of environmental degradation. Today, modern issues of the global issues of pollution in the world today and of environmental destruction today are directly linked to the emergence of the Industrial Revolution. So it's a hugely significant development. So reading 19 and 20 in our textbook, we have a graded discussion forum this week. Watch my presentation on the Industrial Revolution and the little film that I have for you, which I think you'll enjoy. Brief 20-minute film, both of which will really help you get a hold of the subject. Now, this is the factoid for this week. Remember, email me this factoid no later than Wednesday by midnight to get your extra credit point added towards a test at the end of the term. The factoid is this. One of the ramifications of the Industrial Revolution, and this is also something we see today, as we see the emergence of the conversation surrounding AI, or artificial intelligence, and the concern of how automation and artificial intelligence could ultimately eliminate certain important skilled jobs. We see that debate today. During the Industrial Revolution, it was a very similar thing. The development of machines and mechanized technology took skilled jobs away from people. Particularly, well, not particularly, but in one example, the textile industry. Textiles used to be a pretty well-paid, highly skilled form of work. But the advent of textile factories with machines meant that anybody could do these jobs, and pay was much, much cheaper. The environment and working conditions were much more difficult also. And so the development of industrialized textile factories really destroyed the livelihood and well-being of former textile workers because of the use of machines, which really destroyed the skilled element involved in people's labor, in that kind of labor. A skilled job always brings more money than an unskilled job, unless there's a government regulation mandating how much people are paid. And so in 1811 in England, and this is the factoid, in 1811 in England, a group known as the Luddites actually revolted. And they revolted against the factories and against the machines. They were textile workers, displaced textile workers, and they revolted and they destroyed the factories and they destroyed the machines in an attempt to prevent the progress of industrialization because it had so destroyed their livelihood. Of course, such efforts were futile, and the progress of industrialization was not going to be stopped. But the factoid is 1811, the Luddites destroying textile factories and machines in protest to the destruction of a well-paid, skilled job in the textile industry. All right, guys, have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll have a good week. I hope you really enjoy what we're doing in the class so far. I hope we're having a great time. I certainly am. All right, guys.